Oh, right. Hello. Welcome to the Hold My Helmet Football Podcast. I'm your host, Will Reichling.
And I'm your co-host, Dylan Boyle.
Welcome back, Dylan. Week 13 in the books. And look, you were right about the Niners, and I was wrong about the Eagles. The Niners controlled that game. We'll start with that, because that was the game of the week, possibly the game of the year, the NFC Championship rematch. Look, the Eagles can tackle anything, and when you can't tackle Debo, he has the chance of taking it to the house.
Absolutely.
100% of the time.
They did it all night.
Hey, missed tackles, and look, Debo Samuel had himself a day, and he was talking a lot of smack going into this game, saying if we had a quarterback last season, it'd be different. He proved it today. He backed it up.
This was definitely their revenge game, and they got their backs.
So, I don't know where the Eagles go from here because, look, that defense is a legit problem, specifically that secondary. They were getting wide receivers were running wide open the entire game. And it's weird because they have players on that back end. They have Darius Slay, James Bradbury, Kevin Byard that they traded from the Titans. It doesn't make any sense because they continue to get gassed. Does it have to do with losing both their coordinators, their OC and their DC? Because their offense has struggled a little bit too. Maybe it comes down to losing their coaches. On the offensive side of the ball, Nick Sirianni, when he first got there, he was calling plays and it was a little shaky. And then he relinquished the play calling to Shane Steichen. And ever since then, Jalen Hurts kind of took off in the second half of his first season as a starter. And then last season took off too. Shane Steichen removed from the equation. The offense is kind of up and down again. So maybe this just comes down to coaching. Losing your coordinators. I don't know what you think about that, but they have the players. It doesn't make sense to me.
I think we're just underestimating the 49ers and what they're capable of. They're really a team that can blow out any team in the NFL right now. I think after they had 4 losses in a row. I think everyone was thinking, okay, this really isn't the team. They're missing some pieces. But, once they were all healthy, they were ready to go, especially with Chase Young. I think that was really their missing piece to really make them a complete team.
Well, the defensive line was struggling at the beginning of the season, which was pretty crazy because you have Bosa and everything. But Bosa started to really come on. Maybe Chase Young helps that. Having Armstead coming on. Maybe the attention is going to Chase Young now. Mm-hmm. It's freeing everyone else up. But I don't know. It's just they blow out Dallas, San Francisco. They blow out the Eagles. Excuse me. When they have the lead and they get a lead on teams, they kind of blow them out. And when Brock Purdy has things going, he really has things going. He struggled the first drive or two, but he really got things going. And Brock Purdy now leads the league in passer rating, completion percentage, touchdowns per attempt, yards per completion.
A lot of people aren't looking at him as MVP because you just see all the talent that's around there. But he is, I wouldn't say single-handedly winning these games, but, the quarterback is the most important part on a team. And I don't think you could just throw anyone in there and make it work, honestly.
Well, the thing is, it's a little weird because right now, all the stats and I want to say he's the MVP favorite right now. Like today, that I would pick him to be the MVP of the league. But it's hard to be the MVP of the league when you're most likely not even the MVP on your own team. And when people play the 49ers and they play the 49ers offense, I can name 3 or 4 people that teams worry about more than Brock Purdy. He's probably 4th or 5th down. And when the biggest
defensive and offensive.
Yeah, and when the biggest question mark on offense is, can your MVP caliber quarterback, is he going to fold today? How can you be MVP at that point?
That's a good point.
It doesn't, but at the same time, he's leading in almost every category, so how can you not? So it's very confusing right now.
Yeah, there's 2 people on this team that stick out as MVPs. Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy.
Yeah,
just those 2 for now.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Anybody could just have themselves a streak and be like, okay, he might be coming in. Well,
because no one's the front runner right now. That's why it's not really. Dak's up there. We'll get into that later.
So yeah, the thing is no quarterback is significantly doing amazing where you're like, okay, he's going to be MVP. And like you've said before, MVP is mostly a quarterback reward,
I hate it, but yeah, it's true because Tyreek Hill will be involved in that. But as far as the Eagles go, they play the Cowboys next week. I don't know right now. You'll hear my picks later, but I don't know if the Eagles win this game. Dallas is home. They played them close last game. Dallas has a lot of momentum. Eagles are kind of losing their momentum. Kind of the wheels falling off a little bit, especially on the defensive side.
Yes, well, Cowboys are the type of team that they won against the Seahawks. The first team they beat with the winning record. But can they do it again? I don't want to say they struggled against the Seahawks, but they did let up a lot of points. They kept them in there a lot longer than they should have. And, I know the Eagles beat them once, but I think they could see, I think they could beat him again.
Well, obviously they could beat him again. This is probably going to be another go either way game. We'll get to that later. We'll get to our picks. But since you brought it up, I'll just go into it now. Seahawks, Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys held on. The Seahawks played a very impressive game. I was impressed with Geno. He had that one touchdown throw to Metcalf where he just threaded the needle over the defender. Great throw. And he impressed me. He definitely impressed me this game. I just still don't think he's the long-term answer, but he's going to have a game or two like this when things are going for him. And they made it close, but Dallas holds on. Like you said, I'm pretty sure this is the first win against a team with a winning record this season.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And we got to ask the question now, too. Is Dak an MVP candidate? Should Dak be considered today? Is Dak the MVP?
He's up there. He definitely is, but he just hasn't. He's had some good games. He's put up a good amount of games where he put up really good numbers. But then again, they are against pretty crappy teams. This was the first game where we saw him against a pretty good team.
And the defense isn't that great on Seattle,
exactly.
So I'm not really that impressed. But you got to admit that this is probably the best Dak that I've ever seen. I don't know about you, but this is up there for best Dak that I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's putting up stats. For sure.
Crazy numbers. And, I want to go Purdy because right now I think it's between Dak and Purdy today. I want to go Purdy because he's leading in so many categories. But Dak's been more. I feel like Dak's been more important to his team this season. Dak and CeeDee Lamb are the two most valuable players on that Cowboy team, offense and defense. I know Micah Parsons had a good season. Dak is without Dak right now. I don't know if Dallas would be where they are right now this season. Dak's really. I think he's really evolved. I'm hearing he's doing a lot of stuff at the line of scrimmage differently, which is helping him. He's seeing protections and he's audibling into the right play more times than not. So Dak's really developed cerebrally, his mind and his play. And right now, it's just, I don't know if this is a crazy take, but one time in 2003 there was co-MVPs of the league, Steve McNair and Peyton Manning. Right now, I would name them both co-MVP, Purdy and Dak, because it's so close right now.
Yeah.
So right now I have them 50-50. So the dividend today was my take. Co-MVP, Purdy, and Dak. Because I can't pick between one because it goes either way. Purdy, it's is he the most valuable guy in his own team? No, but he's leading in so many different categories. He's been playing almost perfect football the last couple of weeks. Dak playing almost perfect football, but he has the stigma of being Dak. And it's hard to shake that sometimes. But it should be based on this season. He's having a great season. So it is really a tough call right now.
Well, yeah. In the beginning of the season, you had Mike McCarthy starting calling plays, and it took them a while to kind of get the groove of things and get things rolling. But they've slowly been getting better and better. So he's definitely up there for MVP. I would give it. I would literally give it to the end of the season. I need to see him
me
the full
too.
season before I really.
Today though, who'd you pick?
It wouldn't even be a quarterback. I would choose Christian McCaffrey, honestly.
Really? Over Tyreek Hill? Tyreek Hill's been crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. McCaffrey's kind of slowed down a little bit. He's still getting a crazy amount of touchdowns. So,
Receiving end.
I'm fine with McCaffrey MVP right now. He's cooled off a little bit, but I'm still fine with that. Tyreek Hill's got to be considered too right now. He's on pace for 2,000 receiving yards. I don't understand how he keeps running wide open. I mean, we'll get into that game later, but Tyreek Hill has just been, since he's left the Chiefs, an amazing story.
You know what's another one I want to talk about? Coach of the year. Who do you think that's going to?
That's actually a great question because there's so many different candidates. If DeMeco Ryans brings the Texans to the playoffs, how can you not nominate him? If Sean Payton brings the Broncos to the playoffs, how do you not nominate him? If Matt LaFleur brings the Packers to the playoffs, how do you not nominate him? If Sean McVay with that roster, do you know anyone on that defense other than Aaron Donald? If they make the playoffs, how do you not nominate them? The Vikings, Kevin O'Connell, Josh Dobbs, if they make the playoffs, how do you not nominate them? The Colts, Shane Steichen, Gardner. There's a lot of different candidates right now.
Yes.
I don't even know.
You can name a list of them.
I guess the front runner right now is probably DeMeco Ryans, the way how people thought how bad the Texans were going to be. Sean McVay's got to be up there too. What he's doing with that Ram squad. Puka Nacua, 5th round pick. Oh my God. He's been a great find for them.
McDaniels, I mean, he still has a really good team and they're winning games.
Miami, that's a good one too. Yeah, but that's a good one too.
There's a lot.
There really is a lot.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
I wonder who's going to go to.
That actually,
if you had a bet on it,
I would give it.
There wouldn't be a solid candidate.
Same with MVP, Coach of the Year. I feel like Coach of the Year is even more of a crapshoot than MVP. Yeah. Wow, that's actually to think about. There's 6 or 7 candidates that you would pick, and I would have no problem with. So that's interesting for sure. So I mean, Dallas moving on. I guess we'll move on.
Well, I did want to say one more thing about the Seahawks.
Yes, what do you want to say about the Seahawks?
Like they had a really good game. I'll give it to them.
They did.
But now, you're right. I don't know what to make of Geno Smith. He's a really good quarterback sometimes. In some games, he literally does nothing.
Inconsistent.
And now, next week, they go up against the 49ers. And is it going to be like a roller coaster? Or are we going to see another crappy game from him next week? After just seeing, like, going toe-to-toe with a quote-unquote MVP?
It's possible, and I told you this a couple weeks ago. The Rams beat them twice. They're going to be fighting for a wild card. Now I think they're both 6-6. The Seahawks might find themselves on the outside of the playoffs. You got the Vikings, the Packers, what is it called? The Rams, and the Seahawks might be outside looking in. I mean, it's not over yet, but they have a tough schedule. Seattle, and I think they have another really tough game after Seattle. I forgot who it is, but there's a very good chance that they could be like 6-8, 6-9 before it's said and done. So
should be an interesting one.
Yeah, talk about an interesting one though. Chiefs, Packers beating the Kansas City Chiefs. Jordan Love's really impressed.
Wow. All I gotta say for this one is wow.
And really, it started with the Packers coming out firing the first 2 drives and then never let it go. The Packers controlled this game. They're 6-6 now. Like I said, Matt LaFleur should be in the conversation for Coach of the Year too, because what he's doing with Jordan Love right now, developing him into a legitimate quarterback. I mean, Jordan Love's done a great job these last couple of weeks. He really had. You're seeing growth. That touchdown throw he threw to Watson in the back of the end zone, that was the only spot you could put that throw. That is a big time throw, and we weren't seeing enough out of that, like from the beginning of the season from him, like that. Now we're seeing it a lot more, and look, the Packers and the Jets. I mean. The Packers got to be feeling good right now about trading Rodgers away. And it sucks to say, but I mean,
sometimes you just got to move on. And, they moved on and...
they picked the perfect time.
Exactly.
They got now Jordan Love, young quarterback, with his young receivers, Watson, Dobbs. This guy Reed looks spicy, too. This is looking good. Dylan's starting to step up lately. Who's their tight end? Musgrave looks pretty good, too.
So they just have a roster that, everyone around there is just... a pretty good player. Jordan Love is pretty good. They're all pretty good players.
It's well-rounded. The defense, too.
Yeah.
Good point.
It's just weird because, you don't see any, superstars there, but they're still getting it done.
They got a lot of B-plus guys, and their coaching staff, too, just solid all around.
I can definitely see him getting Coach of the Year, too, just for that fact.
It's crazy. There's so many candidates. But are you worried about the Chiefs now?
I was gonna ask you the same thing. I was saying before, they do not look like an 8-4 team.
It's weird.
The way they've been playing.
It's weird because the Trevor Lawrence injury, I mean, now we're finding it's a high ankle sprain. He'll be okay. He might still miss a game or two, possibly. I don't know.
Definitely.
It's still wide open for him to somehow end up back in the AFC Championship game. They already beat Miami. I mean, I guess the only team they really have to worry about is they beat the Jaguars, too. The only team they're really, I guess, worried about is Lamar and the Ravens. So I'm not worried. But
I'm worried.
But I think if they do, if they are first round exit, I wouldn't be surprised because this just seems like this isn't like their year. That's really.
Listen, I get that, but even in the playoffs, they don't have any clutch players. Like in the moment, they're gonna drop the ball.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to it in a playoff game, they're gonna see drops all around.
I don't trust any of them honestly, and we gotta talk. I mean, Kelsey's still having a decent season, but he's definitely starting to slowly plateau. It's happening slowly in front of our eyes. He's still really good.
So that's fine. He's able to do that. You just gotta stop feeding him the ball every other play because it's starting to look like.
Well, that's what happens.
It's starting to look bad.
Yeah, that's what happens when you don't have anyone else. When you have Tyreek Hill, it takes the pressure off Travis Kelce. But now when it's only Travis Kelce, I mean, teams are going to dial in on him.
I've said this before. Even though they won a Super Bowl, I think they made a big mistake getting rid of Tyreek Hill.
I absolutely agree. I mean,
best receiver in the league. How are you going to just get rid of him?
I think a lot of people think a lot of people thought Mahomes made him, and he wasn't going to be the same without Mahomes. He's been better.
Well,
he's been better. So
he got proven wrong real quick.
They're going to have to reload in the draft or something, get another weapon or two. Maybe they're in the Devontae Adams or Mike Evans sweepstakes. Who knows?
That's a good point.
The Jets. So
that's a good point.
We'll see. Broncos-Texans, and this was a good game. Started off a little slow. The biggest takeaway I have from this, I mean, Russell Wilson had one really good touchdown throw to Sutton. That was a crazy throw, all the way to left in the corner of the end zone. That was crazy, but, I mean, they did struggle this game. Both offenses kind of struggled this game.
They did.
Texans' defense has, been really underrated.
I was going to say that. Texans' defense, their line has been phenomenal, just getting to the quarterback.
And Derek Stingley, the corner, he was drafted one pick over Sauce. And, Sauce had the big rookie season last year, and Stingley was pretty quiet. Now I think he's had 4 interceptions in the last 3 games. And people are saying, oh, Stingley's better than Sauce. The Jets made him. basically crapping on the Texans for not picking Sauce and Stingley, and everyone's like, oh, Stingley's better. I mean, I'll never say one corner's better than another because of the interceptions, because interceptions are weird. Revis one year was the best corner in the league by far and didn't have a single pick. Why?
Because
they didn't throw him the ball.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
that just proves that you are a good corner.
Now, here's the thing. Sauce is getting a lot of targets at him, but his separation rate is like one of the best in the league. He doesn't create, like, wide receivers don't separate against him, and he's like pretty locked down. I know people like to say he's PI boy, this and that. He's pass interference. Gets a little handsy, but I think it's smart.
He gets away with it.
If the refs aren't going to call it, I mean, I'm for that.
They're not going to call it.
And sometimes he's gotten away with he's gotten away with a pass interference or two, but it's like it's been close calls. It's not like, but anyway, regardless, back to it. Derek Stingley has become a really good corner. They drafted Will Anderson on that defense. They have some pieces on the defense. They have some pieces in the offense. Now, Tank Dell being out for the season, is this going to negatively affect the outcome of their season?
At first glance, I think it would, but at the same time, I think he's making these receivers. Like, that was a rookie receiver right out of the draft, and he just completely went off. So I think anybody could step up in his shoes. Noah Brown stepping up.
Yeah, and you made a great point, because once he came out, what happened? Nico Collins had a monster day. So yeah.
I think Nico Collins is just going to be getting fed the ball way more now.
You know who I think will step up a lot too? Schultz. I think Schultz is going to start to step up a lot more.
Absolutely.
He's had some good games. He's kind of disappeared in some games. And
I think we're going to be seeing him a lot more.
Yeah,
now.
They're 6-6 now. The Texans are 7-5, so they're both on the outside looking in still. But both of them could end up in the playoffs. But this could be huge. I didn't really think about this till now. Wild card tiebreaker. Now the Texans have it, so this could end up being detrimental to the Broncos later in the season. How about Jake Browning and the Cincinnati Bengals beating the Jaguars?
Phenomenal. I think before the season started, we had a little take where I'm like, yo, imagine. I was saying, like, listen, if you throw any quarterback back there, they can get it done. And look, Jake Browning got it done.
I gotta say, today you're looking pretty smart with that, because if he can play like that, the Bengals have all the pieces on offense, and they could possibly sneak into the playoffs. Now, will they? I don't think so, but it's possible.
Listen, I think now is the time to shine. You still got everyone on your roster. I know Joe Burrow's out, but if this guy can get it done, what the hell?
Well, this might be T. Higgins' last year on the squad. So
that's what I'm getting at.
But, the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence had a great game until he got hurt. He was playing really well. He made some really good throws in this game. The thing is, their defense got torched this game. Their secondary, I mean, Browning made some really good throws, but other than that, I mean, they could not stop any pass. Like, Jake Browning looked like prime Dan Marino back there. I mean, just like throwing all over the field.
He did.
He had like over 350 yards. It was crazy.
Well, you got to realize the receivers that they're going up against.
Yeah.
These are stars.
I know, yeah.
There,
Tyler Boyd.
And then you got the running game too. Joe Mixon.
He had a big day. He's actually really started to come on. We thought he was kind of washed, and he's really
becoming a receiving back too. He's been catching a lot of balls,
which was never really his strength back in the day. So,
well, you got to realize you gotta have to come up with something now that you have this backup quarterback in. So they're opening the playbook to anything at this point.
And when Tyler Boyd's your number 3, you have a pretty good receiving core, because Tyler Boyd's probably a 2 on most teams. So the only question I have from this game, will Trevor Lawrence being hurt affect the Jaguars like seeding in the playoffs? Like if he misses a game or two, because he has the high ankle sprain, so he's not going to be out for the season, thank God. But can this affect, like, because if the Jaguars won this game, they would have had the 1 seed, but now they lost. Could they end up falling back more? Like,
I think they can. Like, yes, they do have the 1 seed, but that's a pretty tough division.
Well, they would have had the 1 seed if they won, but they lost.
Okay, so now
they're like, I think they're like
Colts
3 or 4. No, in the AFC, the Dolphins have it now.
No, I mean in their division. Though.
No, they're winning the division.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're still winning the division by, I think, 2. No, only a game. Only a game.
But that's what I'm saying. You can't really mess around.
The Texans could easily sneak in there now.
Or the Colts.
So all it takes is 1 game. Yeah, the Colts are right there too. The Colts have the same record as the Texans. That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, they're working with the backup quarterback as well.
What's the head-to-head on that? Did the Colts beat have they played twice? You don't have to look into this now, but that's interesting to think about, because the Colts actually could still possibly win this division. Actually, I don't think so, because the Jaguars crushed them once. I don't know about twice, but I know the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars actually beat them twice. Yeah, so I don't know about the division unless the Jaguars start to fall a lot here and the Texans end up in the lead and the Colts are right there. But
it's a weird division. I don't know which way it's going to go.
We thought it was going to be the 2nd or 3rd worst division in football. And they got 3 teams.
The best.
Well, it might now. It might be because the AFC North with the Browns, Steelers, Bengals, all their quarterbacks are hurt. So the AFC South is turning out to be a pretty good division. When the worst team in the division is the Titans, who are pretty feisty, your division's not bad. So that's where we stand with that. So let's move on. This Charger Patriots game that we're about to get into, the only thing I want to bring up about this is the talent gap is not even close. So how do you only win 6-0? How do you only score 6 points?
Tell me. Straight up pathetic. The Giants were able to score more points than the Chargers.
It really is pathetic. And like now, Kellen Moore definitely has to be partial blame for this. The offensive coordinator. We can blame Staley all we want. They only let up 6 points, so he did his job on defense today. So who else are we gonna? Herbert deserves some blame. Eckler. I think we are watching the decline of Austin Eckler. We were watching the decline of Austin Eckler. He complained in the offseason about not getting paid and stuff, and the Chargers ended up being the smart one in this situation because he's declining. So good thing they didn't pay him.
Yeah,
it sucks because I like Eckler, but
listen, I don't know how much of the blame you want to put on him. But real quick, Brandon Staley runs the defense.
Yes,
because he's a defense.
Yeah, he calls the play on defense. Yeah.
Okay, so that's why you're saying
he's the head coach. Yes, but Kellen Moore calls the offense. Staley calls the defense. That's why I keep saying every week he's a defensive head coach and his defense sucks. Look, the Patriots suck, but they didn't let up any points. So and they only scored 6. I mean, they scored 15 against the Jets. The Patriots. So if they could, I mean.
They should have been able to do more and keep it this close. They kept it a 1-score game the whole game.
I can't believe that
the Patriots could have easily just scored a touchdown and that's it.
I can't believe a touchdown wasn't scored in this game. Crazy.
The Chargers, I just don't know what to make of them. They got to do something with the coaching staff.
Yeah,
either make Kellen Moore the head coach and get rid of Staley.
Harbaugh, I don't know, get Harbaugh from Michigan or something. I don't know, but Justin Herbert, we got to start. I mean, come on, 6 points, Justin Herbert. Like you don't score a touchdown. I know Belichick is a good. I think Belichick actually if teams are looking at Belichick as a head coach, I think he could take this game as a positive for him because. Defensive head coach, the defense played great in this game for the Patriots.
Yeah,
outstanding job.
That offense couldn't do anything.
Terrible, and he's out of touch with offense.
So what was Mac Jones not playing this game?
I don't think he even started. I think it was just Zappy all the way.
You think it was Zappy all the way?
I see. That's the thing.
They're keeping it going.
That's the thing. That was such an ugly game. I didn't even really. That was a game I didn't really have my eyes.
There was no point to watching.
No, because there's no implications. The Chargers are kind of out of it right now. I mean, they still have a shot, I guess, but.
I mean, I kind of just thought it would be a blowout. Chargers just. Get right game.
Yeah.
They didn't get right.
They didn't get right. They won, but they didn't get right at all. Now they play the Broncos, which is going to be...
That was the ugliest win you might have had.
Ever.
You might as well have lost.
Yeah. That was a mental loss.
Yeah, it was.
If I was the head coach...
To not score a touchdown against the Patriots, come on, man.
It was bad. But, there's nothing else we could say about that.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
I'm just really worried about the Chargers. This was supposed to be their year. Every year, we keep on saying this is supposed to be their year.
I'm telling you right now, I don't care who they draft, what head coach they get. I don't care. I'm not saying this next year. They have to prove it to me. I'm done saying that they're going to be a playoff, one of the top teams in the AFC. I had them in over the Ravens. The Ravens. How do I do that?
You might as well just get rid of everyone. Just
keep Justin Herbert. Get rid of everyone else because Keenan Allen's old at this point too. Just get rid of everyone. Keep Justin Herbert and start over.
Key players on other
Khalil
teams.
Mack is leading the league in sacks on defense too. It's like you can't say that they don't have players on defense. So I don't get. They were good this week on defense, but I mean they were playing the Patriots. But I'm just saying so many weeks they just let up so many points and it's too little too late at this point now,
Way too little too late.
So we'll do rapid fire for the rest of the games. I mean, this is probably the most important rapid fire game. The Lions Saints. The Lions came out firing, scored 3 touchdowns in the first quarter. Saints came rolling back.
They came back.
But the Lions hold on. And I think, did you see those cryptic tweets by Michael Thomas saying how when you can't see good and you get receivers hurt or something? I don't know if he's blaming Derek Carr for getting him hurt or something from I don't know. And
wait, Michael Thomas got hurt?
Yes, he's hurt. He's on the IR. And
my God!
Yeah, again. At this point. It's IR too, so it's not gonna be long term. And I think it was a week or two ago, but he made some cryptic tweets and deleted his social. I don't know what's going on with him. Derek Carr has not worked out for the Saints. Let's just say that they lost the Falcons in a key divisional game, and they started off so slow in this game. It was too little, too late. And
they came back. They made it a 1-score game, and they almost had to come.
They've done this a couple times. They fell down to the Jaguars earlier in the season. They're doing this constantly, where they're starting off too slow on offense. Partially, it's probably head coaching, offensive coordinator, but I think Derek Carr deserves majority of the blame. It goes to Derek Carr. So the Lions, I'm not really that impressed. I mean, with this win.
I mean, they scored 3 points right away. Within 7 minutes, they scored 7 touchdowns.
Yeah, and then they kind of slowed down, but then they picked it up again. And look,
I mean, they took care of the job. They got it done.
Where do you think Laporta ranks as tight ends right now? I think
he's top 5.
Top 5 for sure.
Yes, and he's a rookie, right?
Yep.
Yeah. phenomenal.
Best rookie tight end this season so far.
You got a bunch of young guys. They're chilling.
Yeah.
I mean, the only old guy I can see there is Montgomery, and he's acting like he's young. He's acting like
it's funny though because that's like old. That's old for the running back, but he's been in the league I think like only 4 or 5 years. It's funny how running backs can be old, which is old.
That is old.
So Jamison Williams is getting going too. He had a nice running touchdown.
Run around for a touchdown.
They're all starting to get going slowly, and it's
the perfect timing.
Yeah, so I can see him winning a playoff game at home, but it's gonna be tough for them to beat like the Eagles or the Niners. Like, like their defense is kind of Swiss cheese a little bit. They were great in the beginning of the season, but they're starting. They have started to falter a little bit.
Let's talk about the NFC because what team are they really worried about? Maybe the 49ers, the one team. The Cowboys.
Dallas is scary sometimes against bad teams.
Sometimes against bad teams.
We gotta see him beat.
Exactly.
We gotta see him this week against the Eagles.
They don't know how to blow out a team.
I think this Eagles Cowboys game is gonna help us out with a lot of this because like right now we're a little confused because the Eagles beat the Cowboys last time, but they kind of the ending was a little weird and like Dallas had every chance to win that game, but then 49ers killed Dallas, 49ers killed the Eagles, 49ers lose to the Browns. It's just like very weird. So
like if I were to rank the NFC, I would do like the 49ers, the Lions, the Eagles, and then the Cowboys.
Wow, so you put Lions too.
Yeah.
I gotta go 49ers, Eagles, and I had Lions 3, but the last couple of weeks have changed. I'll go Cowboys 3, Lions 4, but it's very close. I would even say 3A and 3B between Lions and Cowboys. If Lions were home in that playoff game, I could see them having a chance to win. If Dallas, I think that would be a great playoff game, which would probably be a divisional round game. I think
Dallas
Lions,
Lions, yeah.
Dallas Lions. Dallas 4 is nice. Dallas does not want to see the 49ers in the playoffs. They've lost them 2 seasons in a row in the playoffs. So and they got their butts kicked by them earlier in the season. Point. So let's move on. Browns, Rams, and Michael look decent in this game. But I think the story is the Rams offense. Putting up they put up 30-something against one of the best defenses in the league. Matt Stafford had, I think, 3 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
Puka Nacua had a day. Cooper Kupp got going at certain points in this game. Look, the Rams are really, Sean McVay, talk about coach of the year. What this guy has done, other than Aaron Donald, maybe a player here or there, name a player on that defense. I can't either. And maybe eventually after this season we'll know some of these names. But going into the season, these are no names, okay? These are no names. And he's getting it done. I don't understand how. I don't get it. I did think they could win 6-7 games this year, but they're already at 6.
Well, when you have a veteran like Aaron Donald, he kind of runs the pack. He puts everyone where they have to be, make sure everyone's doing their job.
It's weird because I don't even think he's really had a great season either. I think he has maybe 5 or 6. He doesn't have a lot of sacks. So
they're still
his presence, maybe I don't know. Stafford's been the last 2 or 3 weeks has been really good. I think people are sleeping on how good Stafford still is. He could still sling it. Some of his throws, I'm like, wow, that guy can still throw.
He's won Super Bowls.
His thing is he gets hurt a lot nowadays. So that's something to keep an eye on, his injury, because you got Carson Wentz now as the backup, so who knows? But
that's probably why they got Carson Wentz. They're like, okay, this guy's a little old.
That's exactly why.
All these quarterbacks are getting hurt now.
That's that's the thing. Sean McVay's smarter than everyone else. Usually old because I think he also is plays a little bit of a GM role there too. I'm not sure who the GM is there. But ananyway, if they do have a GM and if it's not him, they're a lockstep most of the time. Yeah. So moving on, Flacco, before we move on, Flacco looked decent.
I forgot. Flacco.
When you have blocking for Joe Flacco, he could throw the ball still. On the Jets, they couldn't block anyone last season and the season before, so obviously he looked bad. When you block for him, he's going to look decent.
Yes, he was airing it out too. He wasn't scared at all. No, he was just letting it go.
Flacco throws the ball down the field. I'll give him that. He will try to throw the ball down the field. So, can the Browns make the playoffs with Joe Flacco?
Maybe.
Possibly. The AFC's wild card's still too muddy right now for me to make a definitive decision on that yet. So we'll see.
There's only 4 weeks left too.
Yeah, so we'll see where that goes. Colts-Titans was a great game that went to overtime. It was back and forth, but the fact that the Colts are 7-5 with Gardner Minshew, Shane Steichen he also has to be a Coach of the Year candidate.
Yeah,
this is the year of the Coach of the Year candidates.
It's going to be tough.
To make the playoffs with Gardner Minshew in the tough AFC would be crazy. So
it would. A lot of teams are kind of in the same boat where they don't really have a quarterback and they're still trying to make it work.
So very impressive the Colts.
But the Colts are doing it more fashionably. They're acting like Minshew's been there the whole time,
and he's playing. Minshew's playing like a. He is almost like a 6-year vet at this point, but Minshew is ice cold sometimes. He's very clutch in key moments at times, and he's limited, but the 90s he makes some big plays. The overtime touchdown, the Pittman. Minshew is a big play quarterback sometimes. Sometimes he struggles, but we'll move on. Cardinals-Steelers, how many delays was this game going to have? Pickett got hurt, but, the key takeaway I think I take from this game is that Trey McBride, the tight end of the Cardinals, is really starting to come on as a really good tight end.
Yeah.
Each week that Kyle's been back now, he's really starting to take big strides. Pickett got ankle surgery, and somehow he's not out for the season, so I don't know.
I'm
minor surgery?
I'm still kind of confused by that, but I guess it's a developing story.
Yeah, so Trubisky's going to play this week. Who do they play again? I remember it was ago.
The Patriots.
Oh my God! Thursday night.
Yeah, Thursday night. Trubisky and Trubisky and Bailey Zappe.
See, I'm not confident Trubisky was Pickett any better, and it's the Patriots, so it's like.
Listen, if I were to choose the quarterback, I would choose Trubisky all the way.
I don't know, because I've seen a lot of Trubisky, and he's very like dink and dunk, and like I don't know. I just.
And you like Bailey Zappe better?
Oh, we're talking about Trubisky and Zappe? Oh, Trubisky.
Yeah. No, the quarterback.
No, I'll take Trubisky all day.
Exactly.
Let's move on. I'll take Trubisky all day. Dolphins, Commanders. Look, Tyreek Hill, I don't understand how he's always open. He really is just always open. I don't get it.
I was looking at some things during this game. They didn't have any safeties back there covering. So a reporter asked him, he's like, how do you feel that they didn't put anyone back there to cover? He's like, you just got to... be grateful for it. And,
he was saying they're professionals and everything.
Yeah.
Which they are. They're obviously, I guess.
I mean, these teams should know. It's like, hey,
well,
watch that guy.
Well, I do agree with that. You want to take away the deep ball from Tyreek Hill before anything, but when you drop that safety back, now you're leaving the middle wide open for Waddle to do his crosses and Tyreek Hill. But I would take those all day instead of those go routes for Tyreek getting 60-yard touchdowns. So I agree.
Back to back, he was just.
And I gotta say, Tua has improved with that deep ball. That one of those throws was the perfect pass. I think he has, and you were very critical of Tua's deep ball. He's been better this season.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you have to when you have somebody like that, and you have that weapon. You got to get better at the deep ball.
He had to work on it. He got it for sure. So we'll move on. Panthers, Bucks. Look, if there was a game not say much, it's probably this one. All I can say that this game is Mike Evans had a huge day.
I was going to say Mike Evans is still a phenomenal receiver.
Trade destinations in the offseason. Where do you think he could be a Jet? What about Chief?
I think he'd be a better Chief than a Jet.
Do you think the Chiefs would pay him what he wants? They might not have to pay him because he's older.
He's older, yeah.
But he's having a big year.
Yes.
So he's going to have value.
Another 1,000-yard
yes,
season.
He already hit it. Yep. 10 straight years. That's an NFL
insane.
record, I think.
He might go down
I think Jerry Rice has more. But, yeah, he will. It's weird because, people don't want to say he's the Hall of Fame candidate because, he's been, good, not great all those seasons. But, he's still got the 1,000 yards every season. Consistency should be noted as being great as well. So... I would love him on the Jets, but the Jets will probably have to give up draft picks or maybe even some of that defense, which I wouldn't want to do.
Listen,
Giants could use him too.
He might be too good for the Jets.
Yeah, Giants could use him too. You got a rookie quarterback in there?
Yeah, no, we're not getting a rookie quarterback.
Look,
get that idea.
Look, even if you keep Daniel Jones, I still think you should draft someone. But neither here nor there. We'll move on. Mike Evans is probably the biggest storyline of that game.
Yeah,
Panthers lose another one.
They only won one game this season.
They had moments on offense, where they scored 18 points. So it's not like they crapped the bed. That's why I think New England's New England's worse than the Panthers. Because at least the Panthers could score. New England's they can't even score against the worst passing defense in the league.
They can't, but their defense could do something.
I will agree. The defense is slightly better than the Panthers, even though the Panthers' defense is a little underrated. But the offense is so bad that the Panthers' defense has to make up for a lot of it.
But it's very weird with New England because some weeks they'll come out looking like they're alive.
Well, that was the beginning of the year. The Eagles they beat the Bills right in the midst of the disaster.
Exactly.
So that is true. Very weird, the NFL.
A very weird team in general.
So last but not least, I want to save this for last because, what are we going to talk about anymore with the New York Jets? They left 13 points to the Falcons, and they still found a way to lose. It's funny. The Falcons scored one touchdown, and when they scored that touchdown, I was like, oh, that's it. The Jets aren't going to win now.
Yeah,
once they score that one touchdown, you were screwed. I mean, how many times on third and long is Tim Boyle going to throw a check down? And then Jonathan Vilma, former Jet, calling the game. Love Jonathan Vilma, don't get me wrong. He was like, I don't get why the fans are booing. You're backed up. You're playing against a great defense. What Jonathan Vilma doesn't understand from watching this crap the entire season is that the Jets don't throw the ball down the field. And how are you going to win the game when you're not throwing the ball down the field? I mean, you're down. You're not getting any first downs. You're not getting any yardage. And you do another check down. You have to try something different.
At least hit Breece Hall with the check down.
Throw it up to Garrett. Just throw it up. He'll catch it. I mean, the few times they threw the ball to Garrett downfield, he made great plays. So why not just throw it up? Treat it like a Hopkins situation. Just give him a shot. There was one play where Garrett Wilson was wide open for a touchdown, and Boyle literally looked at him and just didn't throw the ball. I don't understand it sometimes.
Maybe you should go to the quarterback room and talk to them all.
Guys, what you gotta do is the opposite.
Any one of you guys.
Yeah. Zach? Oh, well, I guess we talk about that. Zach, reluctant to play now because they want to go back to Zach, and apparently he's reluctant to play. And
I don't know if that's true.
I think you want to know why I think it's true? Because Diana Rossini reported it, and she's a pretty legitimate reporter. So the Jets might have not said it, but someone that Zach talked to within teammates, friends, family, someone told them. Okay, someone told them. Just because he went to Robert Saleh after the fact and was like, no, I want to play. He was trying to cover his rear end. That's how I feel.
I mean, he made a good point. He's like, listen, if anybody said they were reluctant to play, they wouldn't be on this team. That's a very good point. You can't just say, no, I'm good. You're in the NFL as a quarterback. You're going to play if they ask you to play.
Then apparently Rodgers talked to him and convinced him to retract that. So it's just, so many. This whole season has been a complete disaster for the New York Jets. A complete disaster.
Leave it to the Jets.
It cannot go worse than this. I don't know what else to say. I mean, we've been beating this nonsense down for weeks, and
it's the same storyline every week. Your defense holds up, keeps them within a winning game, and your offense just can't do anything about it.
And yeah, the Falcons' defense is a little underrated, but to not score a single touchdown, you scored what?
A safety and 2 field goals.
Our MVP on offense is definitely kicker. So
yeah,
it's sad. It really is sad. And,
no, Breece Hall is having himself a year. Even though,
but the last couple of weeks he hasn't been because that's the focus. It's okay, and Breece was a little hurt this game, so that's another funny thing. Dalvin Cook, I'm like, oh look, Dalvin Cook has some juice, and what does he do? The next play, fumbles. So
I didn't even watch it. I knew he fumbled.
Yeah. So he the New York Jets. If anyone's saying the New York Jets can make the playoffs, they are out of their minds. If anyone's saying the New York Giants can make the playoffs, they're out of their minds.
Let's not talk about it. Call me out of my mind.
I was just
Giants all the way.
I was just throwing shots at you, man. Anyway, even if Rodgers, the Super Bowl expectations that we're going to this season, I'm not going to have them for next season now because Rodgers, we don't know how he's going to look now coming off the injury. The Jets look like a disaster this season. We don't know who's going to be the coach, the offensive coordinator. So it's
best case scenario, lose out and get some drafts.
But if you lose every game, I don't know how the fan base doesn't get so enraged to demand to fire this coach. How do you lose every game? How does this coaching staff come back? I think Saleh's record's 15 and 30. His record as a head coach has been terrible. So he's got to win some games if he wants to save his job. I mean, if Rodgers wants him back, he's coming back. Because Woody Johnson's going to do whatever Rodgers wants. But
he seems like a good coach.
I like him. I don't think. I mean, you give him a quarterback.
I think you just get rid of Hackett.
You give him yes, I agree. I think Hackett's going to be the scapegoat. But you give Saleh a quarterback. Let's see what he does then. I mean, the guy hasn't had a single his best quarterback's been Mike White, and he's won games with Mike White. So
should have kept Mike White.
Yeah, yes. That I think that's the main issue with this team is that they never got a backup. They had a chance to keep Mike White, didn't do that, and even after Rodgers went down, didn't get a backup. They got fooled by Zach, had a few okay weeks. Had that Chiefs game, everyone thought that he was going to be salvageable. When we all knew the writing on the wall, that this guy was not good. It was a fluke. And they waited all the way to the trade deadline. Still didn't get anyone. They got Trevor Siemian to shut the fans up. And then they only inactivated him for weeks. So clearly they saw something in practice that we didn't. So clearly Trevor Siemian sucks.
They did.
So clearly Tim Boyle. I don't blame Saleh for not taking Wilson out anymore because the other options were a lot worse. So... might as well just go back to Zach at this point because the other guys are even worse. Rant over.
Welcome to the Jets fan base.
Yeah, so
everyone's out of their minds.
So I was decent this week. I went 9-4. Dylan went 8-5. So right now I'm 119-74, and Dylan is 115-78. So I got 4 games ahead of him. We're still coming down to the wire. Still doing pretty well. I don't remember the last time we've had a losing week. It's been a couple weeks. You went 500.
I had one losing week.
Yeah, I think I had one also. You went 500 last week. That doesn't count. So. Good stuff from us. Good stuff. Let's get to Week 14. We'll start with the Thursday Night Football game, Patriots-Steelers. And we kind of went into this before. We trust Trubisky more than Bailey Zappi.
But yeah, I don't care what happens from now on with any Thursday night. The curse is broken.
With the bad games,
Seattle and the Cowboys, that might have been the best game.
It might have been, but now I think this is followed up by the worst game.
Yes.
This might be
who knows? This might be a good game.
Maybe they score and you see something.
I mean, it's going to be,
It's going to be one of those games that Herb Street said last year. Al, this game's so bad that it's good, right? No. It's going to be one of those again. So, Steelers for both of us there. Texans at Jets. And how do you pick anyone? But how do you not pick the Texans? The Texans are going to kill the Jets here.
But I don't know. The Jets seems, you said it before. They reel you in. They think you're going to win.
How do they lose to the Patriots? How do they beat the Eagles? So that's the life of a New York Jets fan.
Let's see. I mean, this should be like a good test for the Texans. They should blow out this team.
Yeah, this is going to be a walk in the park for the Texans because the Jets can't score, and the Texans defense is very underrated. So let's move on. Rams at Ravens. This is going to be a sneaky, good game, and I think the Rams are going to keep this a one-score game. But I think Baltimore, the Rams defense has been overperforming. They've been playing well, but I think the Baltimore offense is going to expose that defense a little bit. Lamar's going to have a good day passing the ball. Odell's getting going. Zay Flowers. Give me Ravens.
Yeah, all the way Ravens. But something we kind of forgot to talk about, Cooper Kupp. He's just kind of, when he came back, you were mentioning it before, when he came back, he just hasn't been looking like the same Cooper Kupp. I completely agree with that.
Last week he was a little better, but still kind of quiet. Puka Nacua is kind of taking the show away.
Yes,
now. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think we're going to see less and less from him.
Well, that's not good.
And at this point, do you think they should trade him?
Well, the trade deadline's over, but the offseason, that's possible.
That's what I'm saying, in the offseason.
Not a terrible idea. You want to reload on young. They are the youngest team in the league, so maybe they just hold on to him and build around him. I don't know. Good question, though. Good question.
I mean, it seems like they're doing just fine with the receiving core.
Yeah, they are. They were. Before, when he was hurt, they were just fine.
So that might be another trading piece, you know? I can see him doing pretty good on the Chiefs.
They can reload them more young pieces, get cheaper, younger. It's not a bad idea.
And that seems to be a Chief thing. So, get the old piece, it doesn't cost that much.
Yeah. No, that's not a bad idea.
That would be weird though. Cooper Kupp, Travis Kelce, two old ass.
Oh, Chiefs, yeah. Jets maybe.
I could see him doing a lot better.
Because you got Garrett,
Jets,
got Garrett, the young guy, bringing Cooper Kupp, the veteran.
Yes, the veteran. He would look good on the Jets.
All comes back to the Jets. Anyway, Panthers at Saints, and something in my mind was telling me, I don't know, maybe Panthers here, but I'll go Saints. I don't trust the Saints ever. I think last time they played, it was like the ugliest Monday night game. Remember that game? It was like a doubleheader with another game, and we were watching. It was like Browns Steelers on one TV, and then we had Panthers Saints on the other TV. And the Panthers Saints game was like terrible. I think it was like 3-0 at halftime. I just remember how bad that game was. I think it's gonna be another ugly one.
Yeah, that was the same week that Nick Chubb broke his leg.
Yes, that week. Yes, that week exactly.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
It was such an ugly game.
It was. The Panthers just kind of look pathetic,
Yeah,
they're just not a good team at all.
They were competitive last week, but yeah,
they were. They seem to be somewhat competitive in games, but then other games they just get blown out. But I feel like this is another game that they might just get blown out in. Saints coming off a bad loss.
Derek Carr has to get right here.
He does.
But he's not going to. Let's be honest. They'll win, but it won't be impressive.
Yeah.
That's probably what's going to happen.
An impressive game.
Colts at Bengals. And Jake Browning, yes, he impressed me last week, but I'm not going to overreact after one game. The Colts have shown me that they're battle-tested this season. They beat the Ravens. They beat the Rams, I'm pretty sure. No, the Rams won in overtime. Regardless, the Colts have played a lot of teams really well, and the Colts have had kind of a magical season here where somehow they're 7-5. Their offensive head coach is very, very smart, Shane Steichen, and it shows that the Eagles are reeling from losing him. And I think their defense is a little underrated. And Jake Browning had a big week last week, but I think he comes back to earth a little bit here. Give me Colts.
I'm actually going Bengals here.
Okay,
Bengals. They're still mathematically in the playoffs. They have a hard stretch, I will say. They have a couple hard games ahead of them, but they started off very well. They have a lot of good receivers, a lot of good teammates around him. Jake Browning doesn't really have to do that much. He just has to get the job done. And I think he could do it, especially against this Colts team. The Colts have a pretty good defense, but I can still see them, slinging it down.
I do think I wouldn't be shocked if the Bengals won this game. I would not be, because technically roster-wise, I probably would take the Bengals with a slight edge because their defense is underrated too. They got a very smart defensive coordinator.
Hey, this is two backups versing each other too. I know Gardner Minshew has a lot more experience being, what is this, his like 6th week, 7th week?
Yeah, I mean, he's played he's played
most of the season.
He's played majority of the season, maybe even like 8-9 games.
And real quick, before we get into anything else, do you think he's going to be a starter somewhere? Or do you think they're going to keep him as backup?
That's a tough one because I don't know.
He's just like Josh Dobbs. I can see him starting on a team.
I don't know if he signed a 1-year or 2-year deal, but it's going to be tough. He's going to want to start somewhere, I would say, but I think a lot of teams are going younger now, draft. This is a very stacked quarterback draft. So maybe they try to trade him in the offseason. I don't know. That's a good question. That is a really good question, though.
He could be a really good backup somewhere. I think, a team with a mediocre quarterback, I can even see him going to the Patriots, but Patriots going out on a limb and grabbing him.
Look, if Gardner Minshew was on the Patriots, I mean, I'm pretty sure they don't get shut out yet on Sunday. So, like, I don't know. He's limited at times, but he makes some huge plays in critical moments, Minshew, and he's done that throughout his career.
Yeah.
You look at his numbers; they're pretty decent numbers in his career.
No,
so
he definitely gets it done.
Bucks at Falcons, and this one is really tough because these are two like evenly kind of matched NFC South teams. I feel like the rosters are very kind of close here. I'll go Falcons. I think the Falcons have gotten a couple huge wins, like over the Saints was a huge win. Wasn't impressed with the Jets win. I mean, they had to do the bare minimum in that game, but the Bucks kind of have started to underperform a little bit. Like that Panthers game, I was not impressed by the Bucks, and I just gotta go Falcons here. I think they're gonna put together a good offensive game plan, and I think Bijan finally has himself a breakout game. Hopefully, because he has not been breakout at all this season.
He hasn't. It's just so unfortunate because a player like that, you got to use him more. I think that's more on the Falcons coaching staff and their offensive coordinator just not using him correctly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Bucks here. I think Mike Thomas. I think Mike Evans, just keeps it going, and I don't know what happened between that game, but this is going to be a get right game for them. Yeah. I can see them slinging it with Baker.
So I don't know if AJ Terrell is still out because I think he got hurt in the Jets game or the game before that, but really good corner. Jesse Bates is a top safety. I think the secondary of the Falcons is very underrated. So I think the Bucs will kind of struggle a little bit in the passing game. I mean, Mike Evans can get it done against anything, so I don't want to take anything away from him. But we'll be split in this game. It's going to be interesting because NFC South's still wide open. Mm-hmm. Jaguars, Browns, I'm just going to say it right now. Trevor Lawrence, we don't know if he's going to play. So I'll go Jaguars if Trevor Lawrence plays. If Trevor Lawrence doesn't play, I trust Flacco over Beathard more. So that's how I'll roll on that one. Cleveland if Trevor Lawrence doesn't play.
Listen, I loved what I saw from Joe Flacco. It was his first week playing, and he was fitting perfectly in that offense. And I can see them keep it rolling. Like, this is another team where the quarterback really doesn't have to do that much. Their defense is stacked. They're one of the best defenses in the league right now. And you have some key targets on offense as well. I think Joe Flacco keeps it going. They make the playoffs.
So with or without Trevor Lawrence?
With or without Trevor Lawrence.
Browns win this game. And you got the Browns making the playoffs. Yeah. Okay, bold takes from Dylan. I love it. Lions at Bears. The Bears almost beat them a few weeks ago, and the Lions had that miracle comeback within the last 5 minutes. The game scored 2 touchdowns quick.
Making history.
Crazy comeback. But, I don't think that's going to happen this game. I think the Lions are going to win this game. So I just think that, the Bears, they're still missing a few players on the defensive side, although they've been better. Yeah. But I think the Lions are going to control this game offensively, and it's going to be another 23-6, 23-10 game. Give me Lions.
Yeah, Bears are coming off a bye too, so that's something to take into consideration.
Well, then the Bears should be ready to play for this game. So.
Yeah. So I don't know. I want to see an interesting game here. I could definitely get Lions in this game, but I don't know. They were looking a little feisty that last week. Who did they play?
The Lions played them.
No. The Bears.
Oh, the Bears played. Oh, the Bears.
The Raiders.
Didn't they beat the Vikings? The Bears.
Yes, they did.
It was not that impressive, but the defense was kind of impressive that game. So
yeah, so I want to see them keep it going. Maybe they can put up a fight against the Lions again.
We'll see. So Seahawks at Niners. I'm gonna go Niners here. I mean, even though Seahawks kind of made it close in the third quarter. The Niners pulled away, and the Niners looked like the better team the entire game. So even though Seattle's talented, Niners are more talented. Give me Niners.
Yeah, Niners all the way. I can't see them not winning this game, especially after a big win like they just had against the Eagles. A team like the Seahawks, it should be a cakewalk.
So we'll see. Vikings at Raiders. This is going to be my bold take of the week. I got the Las Vegas Raiders beating the Minnesota Vikings. I think Josh Dobbs showed that he's limited last game against the Bears, and I think that he's still going to come back down to earth in this game. I think I don't even know if the Vikings scored 20 points in this game. So
I don't think either one of these teams scores 20 points.
I will say I think Justin Jefferson's coming back though, so it might not be a great idea for me. But there's going to be some chemistry issues. First game together. I think the Raiders team is underrated, and I think they actually have a good roster when you look at it.
They do. I mean, after getting the new coach.
They did cut Marcus Peters, their only decent corner, so I'm a little worried on that end. So they might get a little torch. I might look stupid in this game, but I have a feeling the Raiders well coached now. I feel like the Raiders are going to come with kind of fire under their rear end, and I think the Raiders are going to win this game.
This is another one of those go either way.
Yeah,
I'm definitely getting Vikings here. Are they coming off of a bye too?
The Vikings, I think they. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they're coming off of a bye too. It's funny, both those teams, the Vikings and the Bears,
both coming off a
bye. Hopefully, they got right in this bye. They took some rest. And hopefully in that time, Justin Jefferson was practicing a little more, and they can get some chemistry going. I can get the Vikings winning this game, but this is another go either way game.
Yeah, for sure. So AFC West showdown, Broncos Chargers, and
it's gonna be an interesting one.
I think Chargers win this out of desperation. They play in a few weeks after
the team that just scored 6 points against the Patriots.
I think the Broncos are in desperation mode here. They're home, even though that's not really a home field advantage, but they're gonna play the Broncos again in a few weeks. I'll probably take the Broncos in that matchup, win the Broncos home. But the Chargers, I mean, look, they can't. They have too many players on that offense to be this bad.
You would think, though, they won 4 games?
Look, I trust Sean Payton more than Brandon Staley, but I'll take Herbert over Russell Wilson right now any day. And the Chargers defense actually did show some signs of life last week against a terrible offense in New England, don't get me wrong. But Khalil Mack's having a great season. I'm not going to argue with the secondary. They're terrible. But they can generate a pass rush in this game. They could be effective. And when Russell Wilson gets kind of rushed, he's been moving out of the pocket more. And, yeah, he's been running more. But if they can create pressure on Russell Wilson, they can win this game.
Listen, that might be your craziest take this week because I think the Broncos are going to blow them out.
I can't see the Broncos blowing out any team. They don't have that kind of offense. In my opinion. Now, I could be wrong.
They do, though. Yeah, they do. Yeah. Everyone's kind of been coming on.
Yeah, but what name their double-digit win? Maybe I think the Chiefs, but they only score 20, 23. I haven't seen them blow a team out. So do they have that third gear? We're going to find out.
This should be an interesting game. I can't see the Chargers. I think it's just going to be a slow decline from them for the rest of the season.
Look, I think if they can generate a pass rush in this game, they have a shot. So we'll see. So Bills at Chiefs. This is a good game. Look, again, another situation here. The Bills are desperate. The Chiefs have shown that they have a kryptonite, and that's their wide receiver core. And the Bills do have a lot of injuries on their defense. So, I mean, it's tough, but their corners have actually been very underrated, the Bills. I saw some numbers where they were kind of at the top of the league in coverage, separation, and stuff like that. And I think Josh Allen's going to have a really nice game here against the Chiefs. I know the Chiefs' defense is underrated, but Josh Allen, I mean, he's still a special quarterback. He's a top 3 quarterback in the league, in my opinion. So, Bills are going to come out. They're going to be desperate in this game. They lose this game. Well, they're going to be 6-7. There's not going to be a shot of them making the playoffs. So they're going to be extra desperate in this game. So give me the Bills on the road.
I like that take. I have to go Chiefs here just because they had a really bad loss already, and I don't know. They have to start proving themselves that they can do this. I mean, they just came home for the Super Bowl. They've been winning these games, but I don't know. This is a game they kind of have to win in my eyes.
Both teams have to win.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think the Bills are a little more desperate than the Chiefs, so I think they're going to keep their season alive and win this game. Plus, they've played well against the Chiefs in the past. In the regular season. The playoffs, they've lost, even though they played well that one game, the one that went into overtime. But in the regular season, they've kind of had the Chiefs' number, so I'll take Bills here. Sunday Night Football, game of the week, Eagles, Cowboys, part 2. Who do you got?
This one's hard.
Very hard.
This one is hard. So, just the same situation where the Chiefs are coming off of a bad loss. The Eagles are coming off an even worse loss. They kind of got blowed out by the 49ers. So, they're going to be pretty angry, especially versus a rival like the Cowboys. I know they already beat them once, but I can see them winning again.
So, I usually agree with that and say when a team plays bad, they bounce back the next week. But I think the momentum stays. The Cowboys are riding high momentum. Eagles are kind of plateauing. I wouldn't say decline. They're hitting a little bit of a wall right now. And Dallas played them really close last game. Had every chance to win. Kind of self-inflicted wounds. But I think they've corrected that. And the Eagles secondary is Swiss cheese. So I think, and Dallas secondary has been pretty strong. So I think Dallas is going to be throwing all over them. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be a blow. I think it's going to be close again.
Oh, absolutely.
But Dallas is home. I think Dallas has a slight edge here. I think they're going to be ready for revenge since they already lost to them a few weeks ago. I think Dallas is, Dak's playing like MVP level right now. Yeah. So, I mean, right now, I think I would take Jalen Hurts over Dak, but I think Dak's playing better right now. Yeah. So Dak's having the better season, and Dak's on fire. So give me Dak, give me Dallas.
Wasn't the last Eagles Cowboys Sunday night game too?
Was it? No, it was a 4 o'clock game, but it should have been
Was it?
Sunday night. Yeah, I think they had a different Sunday night game that week. I
Oh, that's
forgot what
weird.
it was. Was it Ravens Chargers? Or who would pick that over Eagles? I'm not sure if that was the one, but
yeah, good
we're
Sunday night
split.
game.
No,
yeah.
that's a good game to be split on me and you. So that's gonna be one we're definitely gonna be arguing over for the rest of the week. Okay, 2 Monday night games this week. I hate when they do this, but they do it yet again, and they're both at the same time. Hate that too. Hate most of this situation. Packers Giants. I don't see a way. The Packers are just rolling right now, and the Giants, they've had a couple nice wins, but like really, I mean, you beat the Commanders twice. You beat the Cardinals. You beat who's the other bet? The Patriots. So I don't think the Giants are any good. Give me Packers. Packers just beat the Chiefs, who are actually a legitimate team.
Well, listen,
Packers beat the Lions.
I think we get Tyrod Taylor back this week, and I think he's starting.
That'll help you.
So I don't know. This is like a must win. Listen, I still have my playoffs hopes alive.
Please
So
don't pick the Giants.
I'm picking the Giants.
Oh,
How
my
could I not
God.
pick my Giants?
You give me Ajita, man.
Listen,
you give me
the
Ajita.
Packers are a good team. Don't get me wrong, but the Giants still have a really good defense.
They do.
I think they're going to be locking down the receivers. Pretty like B plus receivers. So I think they'll be able to get it done. Hold them. Their run game's pretty decent, but I don't know if the Giants could come out firing in this game. I can see them winning.
It's going to be tough, man, because the Packers are playing very well, and Jordan Love is playing very well. The defense is playing well. It's going to be tough for the Giants, so they're going to have to come out in the first couple drives and score right away. If they fall behind, it's going to be tough for them to come back. So I'll give the Giants a shot if they score quick and early, but I got Packers otherwise. Other game, Titans-Dolphins. I think the Titans will have a shot at keeping it close. But I think it'll be close in the first half. But I think the second half, the Dolphins will pull away. Tyreek will probably have a big touchdown eventually. He always does.
Yeah.
So give me Dolphins. They're really making it. They're number one in the AFC right now. I don't think they deserve to be number one, but look, they are a good team. I'm not going to deny that. So they're a top 10 team, top 7 for sure. So give me Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm going Dolphins too. There's not much to really get into here. Honestly, the Titans are probably going to keep it close, though. I will say that.
They will. They're well coached. Mike Vrabel. Levis has had some moments, but he's struggled some games.
Yeah.
Their defensive secondary though is terrible. So I think the Dolphins are gonna second half they're gonna be throwing all over them and give me Dolphins.
So is Levis now the starter?
Well, he's the guy now.
He's the guy now.
I don't know. I don't know if Tannehill's under contract. If they're gonna want to trade him in the offseason. He's like shot. I don't know if anyone's really gonna. The only scenario I see that someone picking him up is like for a backup situation. Yeah, because he's kind of shot now. Maybe on the right situation, you can get him some decency out of him. Like maybe a San Francisco, but like they got their guy over there, so they're not gonna want him.
Yeah.
So for a while, I was getting Kirk Cousins to the Niners, but like Birdie's. I mean, I would take Purdy right now over Cousins. Well, Cousins hurt, so Cousins was having a great year, though, so I don't want to knock Kirk Cousins.
That's another one. Like, where is he going?
Yeah, that's going to be crazy in the offseason. We'll find out.
A lot of quarterback moves.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a lot of quarterbacks moves last year.
Where's Zach Wilson going? No, I'm kidding. He's going to be Alvin Lee. He's going to the Canada.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I don't even know why I got to bring the guy up. I'm probably going to get roasted for that. Let's go to our Thursday Night Football parlays. And look, I know a lot of people that bet last week had a huge week. I won my parlay. Cowboys -5.5 hit. Dak Prescott 2+ passing touchdowns hit. Brandon Cooks 40+ receiving yards hit. CeeDee Lamb anytime touchdown scorer hit. Won my parlay.
Good for you.
Bet with me.
Nice.
How'd you do it? How'd you
Good
go?
Job. Didn't do as good. So I had Brandon Cooks 3+ receptions. That hit. I had Michael Gallup's 25+ receiving yards. He didn't touch the ball.
Crazy, I forgot about that.
Crazy enough.
Did he even have a target?
No.
Not a target?
I think he had a target.
I think he had one
didn't have a
target.
reception. Then I had Cowboys over 27.5 points. That hit.
Major hit.
And then Geno Smith under a touchdown and a half. That did not hit.
It's funny because we were roasting him before that game, and he had a big game. It happened.
He did.
He had 30 touchdowns last year. Not denying that he's talented, but limited.
I kind of forgot Walker wasn't playing too.
Yeah.
So that was the other thing.
Maybe, yeah. Did Charbonnet have a big game? We didn't bet any Charbonnet, did we? Yeah. Anyway, so Thursday Night Football this week, Patriots-Steelers. This, to me, in my opinion, other than I think it was like Bears. What was that other terrible game? Was it Bears-Panthers or something like that?
No, it was the Bears-Vikings.
No, that was Monday night. What was the other Thursday night game earlier?
Felt like a Thursday
where it was
night.
like Tyson Bagent against. It was a bad game. Regardless, this is probably the worst game to bet on as far as Thursday night games, and you're going to be seeing a lot of unders. So let's get into it. So under 33.5 total points. I mean, these are two of the worst offenses in the league. The Patriots, I mean, didn't even score a point last week. The Steelers struggle scoring points all the time, even with Kenny Pickett. Now they're with their backup, so I'll I'll take that easily. I mean, 33.5 is a low number, so it's going to be risky, but I'll take the under on that any day. Najee Harris, anytime touchdown scorer. If the Steelers have any shot scoring a touchdown, it's going to be on the ground, inside the 10. So give me Najee Harris on that.
You don't think it's going to be Warren?
If it's going to be Warren, I feel like it would be more of a 40, 50-yard burst. If they get into the red zone, I'd take Najee. Give me Najee Harris anytime touchdown. I got Jalen Warren over 17.5 receiving yards. To me, Mitch Trubisky is the king of dink and dunk. He's going to do check down, check down, check down. Warren's going to have a big day out of the backfield receiving. He's going to get a ton of check downs in this game. Third and long, they're going to check down. Second and long, they're going to check down. First and short, Trubisky is the king of doing that from what I've seen in his career. So I think Jalen Warren's going to be a main featured receiving back in this game, so I'll take that one. Last one, Bailey Zappi under 161.5 passing yards. I just have no faith in this offense. The receivers don't get separation. Bailey Zappi struggled in every game this season. Give me that. What do you got?
So I'm ramming the under as well. I have Ezekiel Elliott under 59.5 rushing yards. Now, he hasn't hit this all season. I think he hit this one time.
It's a high number then. It
is. It's a very high number,
yeah.
And I just can't see them hitting this against the Steelers too.
Yeah, tough defense.
I just can't see it out. And then I'm going the other way with it. I have Jalen Warren under 17.5 receiving yards.
Oh, if you're gonna go against.
He had one reception for -4 yards. I just can't.
Well,
see.
last week.
Yes.
It's 1 week. What do you? I mean, it was a weird game, man. The delays and the weather. I mean, it's a very, very odd game in my opinion.
Yeah, I just can't see it happen.
Nice. Might be the first time we're going directly against each other for our legs. That's gonna be interesting.
It should be interesting. Then I have Bailey Zappi under a half a passing touchdown. I just don't.
He's not
ram the under.
He's not throwing a touchdown.
No, he's not
throwing a touchdown.
That secondary is going to lock them down.
Yeah.
And then the one over I have is George Pickens over 38.5 receiving yards.
If they're going to win, they have to get involved.
Yeah, and I think he had like 80-something receiving yards last week.
The receivers usually eat a little bit with Trubisky because he does get his completion percentage is usually relatively high. So I think they'll get Pickens involved for sure. So repeating that, I got under 33.5 total points. Najee Harris anytime touchdown scorer. Jalen Warren over 17.5 receiving yards, and Bailey Zappi under 161.5 passing yards.
I have Ezekiel Elliott under 59.5 rushing yards. Jalen Warren under 17.5 receiving yards. Bailey Zappi under half a passing touchdown, and George Pickens over 38.5 receiving yards.
So week 14 coming up. After next week, we're going to do our what would it be called? Third quarter way through the season. Top 10 teams. So what is that? 3/4 of the way through the season. So yes, we're going to have our top 10 teams next week. Stay tuned for that. I think the biggest game this week I'll mark it as Eagles, Cowboys, Chiefs, Bills too. Those two will be exciting. We'll see. I think we split on both of those, so we'll see who's going to be the winner and who's going to look stupid next week. Yeah. Usually it's me, but hopefully, it's going to be big. So thanks, Dylan.
Good game.
See you next week.